Welcome back to the channel. This is Adonis 2. I had a guy say to me, nobody you mentioned is comparable to Shaq. Stop the cap. Which brings us to ESPN.com/NBA/history/leaders. In our continuing pursuits on this channel to disprove the 23 plus years of the narratives, we must examine Shaquille O'Neal and his impact on the NBA, the basketball world in general, Laker Nation, and what that actually means to Kobe Bryant's legacy. We have to talk about this because Shaquille O'Neal is a part of LeBron's GOAT debate. The manufactured GOAT's narrative is, I'm better than anyone who ever touched a spherical shape. And if you decide I'm not, well, at least I'm the very closest to the guy you believe that is. Let me prove that by minimizing what the guy you thought was the closest to Jordan did by pointing out this other person who he had helping him. See how that guy is A, B, and C, and he did all of this? So that guy is the one who should be getting all the credit. If you don't got him closest to Jordan, because I'm clearly better than that guy, keep that in mind. Put a pin in that. We're going to come back to that. I'm clearly better than this guy who helped the dude who y'all think is closest to Jordan. That being said, I'm the one that's closest to Jordan. If it sounds confusing, I told you before, think of it like you're hearing it from a toxic woman. She don't really have an argument. She just wants to be heard talking. Yes, because toxic women, they just want attention. It don't matter if it's positive or negative. You still looking at me. If you weren't here to argue with me and yell at me, there'd be nobody talking to me. Which is why these girls be on social media telling everybody everything. Nobody cares. Back in the 80s and 90s, that type of talk was reserved for her man. Her man listened to her complain. She don't got no man, so now she talking to the world. That attitude, she gave that to her son, because you know she's a single independent woman, and her son grew up watching her do that. It just so happens her son watches sports, and he brought his bitch-made ass opinion into our sport. Now do you get it? The men in the audience do. The fathers in the audience do. The masculinity in the audience does. Or I slap your bitch ass. Fuck is these niggas talking about this evening? Let's continue with the video. As I was saying, speaking of the GOAT debate, understand, I'm talking about Michael Jordan. And without Michael Jordan, LeBron James is boring. They always say no pip, no chip, but take this little saying along with you in your travels. Without Michael Jordan, LeBron James is boring. That's why he said that one right there made me the greatest of all time. It's not that one right there. It's the phrase, the greatest of all time. The world, the basketball world, hell, the insect collecting world knew Michael Jordan was the greatest that we've seen. I'm not talking about who you didn't see. You didn't see Wilt Chamberlain. Shut the fuck up. I didn't see Wilt Chamberlain. I ain't gonna lie to you. I only know that he's called Wilt the Stilt because of my OGs was saying that about him. I never watched him play. Leave it in the comments if you knew Wilt was called Wilt the Stilt. I'm talking about in our generation, modern basketball. 1980 forward. Larry Bird came in the league in 1979. If you want to, you can start there. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar went to the Lakers in the mid-70s. He didn't win a chip until Magic Johnson got there in 1980. You can start there if you want to with your bitch ass. However you want to slice it, LeBron James fan, because I know your insecure ass is in the corner listening. I'm talking to my people, our peoples who like winning. These dudes is trying to redefine losing like that's better than winning. Lose a couple M's and tell me that you still up even though you lost an M. Lose your wife or girlfriend and tell me you still up even though you lost your wife or your soldier. Tell these niggas right quick.
Boy, you don't sit your stupid ass down. Who the you think you is?
But back to the lecture at hand. Shaquille O'Neal is barely top 10 all time in points.
Wait, what did you say?
Well, why does that matter? Because points and stats in general matter to a LeBron James fan, allegedly. So Shaq's dominance can't be based only on his size. I'm sure they want to base it on his finals MVPs. Then you got to talk about Jordan's dominance because he has 6. You got to talk about Kareem Abdul-Jabbar's dominance, but they don't want to do that. because that's not really the angle they're coming from with this narrative. But it doesn't stop there. Shaquille O'Neal is not even top 10 all-time in rebounds. How is that possible? But Dwight Howard is. Now, I'm not saying Dwight Howard is a better center than Shaquille O'Neal. What I am saying is, LeBron James, you had Dwight Howard on your team in 2020, and he helped you win that COVID ring. Not to mention, Dwight Howard knocked you out of the 2009 Eastern Conference Finals. I don't know how that happened, especially if you can play all 5 positions, allegedly. Why didn't you shut down Dwight Howard? Because you're supposed to have won Defensive Player of the Year one year. No, you weren't, because Dwight Howard got Defensive Player of the Year how many times again? I forget. You tell me, LeBron James fan. Oh, Defensive Player of the Year don't matter, right? It matters that LeBron don't got it. At least to LeBron it matters. Look at these bitch-ass niggas squirming to figure it out. Why don't you at Crutch Sports and ask Rich Paul, how should we respond to this? Because we know you don't know basketball. You just sheeple, following behind what the last person said. And I hope you send this to your favorite basketball whomever. He don't want these kind of problems, because I told you before, I got jokes for every one of you hoes. Continuing on, Shaquille O'Neal is not top 10 all-time in assists or steals. I mentioned assists because who knows how long it will be before Joker is top 10 all-time in assists, which is a feat for centers. You gotta give it up. Speaking of which, as we talk about Joker, this graphic says no wonder Jordan was 6-0 in the finals. They're basically trying to say there weren't no players like this when Jordan was playing. I'll do you one better and then ask you why we don't talk about it. There weren't no Wembys, Jokers, Cats, or ADs as far as centers when Shaq was playing. Oh, I don't remember Shaq having all of this dominant luck when he played Yao Ming and I'm the franchise like a Houston Rocket. Yao Ming. I remember Shaq being on his I apologize. So tell me what to do to get through to you. If you wasn't alive, you don't know what I'm talking about. But if you was, leave it in the comments if you remember Shaq being a pop shit apologize nigga, just ask Kiss, like Nas said in Ether about Jay-Z. Now, why don't these narratives ever address Shaq didn't really have no competition? I don't know what it's like to see Shaq against Anthony Davis. There is nobody to compare like that in the 90s. I don't know what Shaq would do against Cat. There ain't nobody. I don't know what Shaq would do against Wemby or Joker. Shut your bitch ass up. You not listen, let me break this down for you. I'm not arguing with you, debating like whatever you talking about. I'm coming from the perspective, and shout out to the people 4 or 5 years ago been rocking with my TikToks and now we're over here rocking with my YouTubes. And remember me saying, I'm your host, Honest Adonis Esquire, and I'm counsel in this basketball court. What's on trial? My top 10 all-time list. It doesn't matter who's there. The important part is LeBron James is not on it. I will submit to you over the course of this trial evidences and proofs that support my claim LeBron James is not top 10 all time. This is the point of view that I'm spitting at you LeBron James fans from. You can't out-argue logic. And once you present it in open court, even though it wasn't in the discovery, now I can say it too. You Google all that, LeBron James fan, because you're not smart enough to even be following me anyway. In answering the question that I presented to you all, the reason that they don't talk like that about Shaq, that would go against the narrative. And it states Shaq carried Kobe. How could Kobe be carried by a guy who didn't even have any competition in his position? They already got people off balance by saying Jordan didn't have no competition at his position, which is false because Jordan beat a 2-time ring holder, finals MVP winner shooting guard in Joe Dumars. Oh, did you know Joe Dumars, he got the first finals MVP. Isaiah didn't even get it. So if we was really low down and dirty, disingenuous like you LeBron James fans are, we'd say Isaiah didn't win a ring until Joe Dumars got there. Bring up your stats, facts and figures. I dare you. But probably what they're going to do is start talking about something else, somebody else, because LeBron James needs more help. Oh, no, Isaiah got the second one in 1990. The Pistons were supposed to be the dynasty, but Jordan and the Bulls came and beat them. Didn't Jordan and the Bulls go to 2 Eastern Conference Finals in a row? How great is Phil Jackson really when you were given the keys to the franchise? You didn't start from scratch, first round. You didn't even start from the second round. You started your job as head coach in the Eastern Conference Finals. Dude, you was 5 steps away from the finish line. I'm not taking nothing away from Phil Jackson. I'm saying stop trying to overgive him flowers. That's a part of the narrative too. We're going to minimize Jordan and emphasize everybody else around him, even the hot dog vendor. Jordan would not have been able to make them shots if the dude giving out the Gatorade didn't give Jordan a glass of Gatorade, see? And some LeBron fans listening will say, well, how you expect for a center to be top 10 in steals? Because Hakeem Olajuwon, the guy in Michael Jordan's draft, yes, I'm going to say that again. Hakeem Olajuwon was drafted the same day as Michael Jordan. He is top 10 all time in steals as a center, bitch nigga. This is, side note, what we was talking about. How you gonna have the guy that you was drafted with on the same day, top 10, top 5, on the same team with you and try to act like, well, that's the same as having Scottie Pippen. That's a different video, and we gonna do that for these hoes on a different video. But for right now, understand, Shaq is not top 10 all time in steals, assists, rebounds, and he's barely hanging on to top 10 all time in points. Shaq is top 10 all time in blocks, but you're below Patrick Ewing, David Robinson, Tim Duncan, Mark Eaton, and at the top of the blocks list, again, Hakeem Olajuwon, the guy drafted on the same day as Jordan, the only guy in the decade of the 90s, other than Tim Duncan, let me not get that wrong, who won chips during Jordan's era. And I say, a lot of LeBron fans will pretend like this don't matter. Steph Curry should not have as many rings as you. Steph Curry shouldn't have close to as many rings as you. That, in and of itself, is a video for another day. You leave it in the comments if you want to hear a breakdown on that. In short, Shaq, as one of the great centers, is not held to the same standard that Jordan and Kobe Bryant are. The reason for that is because Bill Russell, Shaquille O'Neal, Robert Horry, the decade of the 90s, Jordan's competition, Larry Bird, the first round of the NBA, all of those are a part of LeBron James's GOAT case. Like I was giving you guys the whole attorney analogy in the beginning, that's their exhibit A, B, C, D, E, F. All of these things are what they're presenting to the courts as their evidence that Michael Jordan is guilty of being overrated, and this is why we should dismiss the case. Anyway, that's my take and I'm sticking to it. You leave it in the comments and tell me if you agree, but remember, basketball fans, and you might not, if you don't agree, like LeBron in the finals, you lose again.